Okay, so it is about 3:45 in the morning. I have been lying wide awake in bed since like 10 o'clock yesterday night. I can't sleep and I don't feel tired. So, what we're gonna do is uh, work on this until I feel tired, and then I will go back to sleep. Or rather, not back to sleep, but I will go to sleep in the first place. So, I have been thinking about what to do for the. What the heck is this? I don't know. Anyway, I've been thinking about what to do about the method here for drawing the bands. So here's what I'm thinking. One of the basic operations that I need as part of this idea of drawing a band, something that I'll need to do repeatedly, is start from a point and travel in a direction along the mesh to get to another point. Well, we need to write some code to do that. So let's just draw a little simpler, you know, say we have something like this, maybe, I don't know. And let's say, now I mean, you have to imagine that this is all in 3 dimensions, right? But say we start here, we want to leave in this direction and end up here. Now, if we were in 2D, this would be a lot easier, but in 3D, we have to be a little more careful. What we'll have to do is to do this motion in 3 steps, right? 1 step in this polygon, 1 step in, I'm trying to pick a color, in this polygon. It's not a good color, but whatever. And then 1 step in this polygon. So basically, what I'm talking about doing here is casting a ray from a point in a polygon infinitely in one direction within the plane of the polygon, and finding the point at which it intersects an edge. And then after we intersect the edge, we need to compute the next search. So if we were going in this direction, and then, let's say this polygon kind of, points into the page, right? Then we need to calculate the next direction to search from, right? So in other words, we need to fold the direction over the edge of the, just over the edge. So how do we do that? Let me draw a better diagram of this. So let's say that I have 2 polygons. Well, this is not great. Let me just draw like a cube. That'll be a better example. It's the worst cube I've ever drawn. I'll try this one more time. Okay, whatever, that's good enough. And let's say we leave from here, we go in this direction, then it's fine, but I want to draw a slightly better example. So imagine I was wrapping a string around the cube, it would kind of fold here, like that. So how do we obtain this new point and angle I think it is maybe you draw the plane that passes through these 2 points, and which is normal to this surface. No, that's not right. Wait, is it? Man, I gotta think about this. Like, oh, actually, this finally is a good example of a good reason to use Paint 3D. Okay, hold on, let me fix the OBS. Wait, how come this isn't working? That's weird. How come OBS can't? Do this? Alright, hold on. Oh, it's working now. Okay. 3D shapes. Cube. 3D view. Okay. How do I get rid of this stupid, well, whatever, it doesn't matter. So we have a cube. Now let's draw. Say we fire from here. So let's say we fire from here in this direction. So now how come this is orthographic? How do I make this a perspective projection? Maybe it is perspective. It's kind of hard to tell though. No, this is definitely orthographic. Oh, no. So the perspective is on. Oh, what just happened? No, not Paint. Paint 3D. Except now, I don't understand why OBS isn't picking up the window all of a sudden. It seems to pick it up every second time that I open it. I don't understand why Paint 3D is so jank. Anyway, so I just need, you know, a shape to work with here. Cube is fine. Just make a big cube. Done. Okay. So let's say we started from here. We were leaving in this direction. Now, what is the, well, what is it that I'm trying to do? I mean, because like, oh man, do what is going on with my OBS. Okay. So like, let's say I was starting here and I was drawing rows, I would want to travel down, right? So if I was trying to travel down around a corner, I think what I would want would be to go whatever direction maximizes movement in this direction. Now this is a 90-degree angle, so maybe it's just like we take the largest dihedral angle. Is that it? I think that kind of makes sense, to take the largest dihedral angle, which to my eyes kind of looks like it would be like this, maybe. Yeah, I think that makes sense, taking the largest dihedral angle. So how do we do that? Oh man. So we have a normal on this face, we have a normal on that face. And the angle between these two vectors is, well, oh, that's weird. But anyway, the angle between these two vectors is, you take the dot product and you can take the inverse cosine, but we have no need to do that because I think what we want, this is good, it's tiring me out. Is we want to do, oh man, I don't actually remember the notation here, but I think we need to do the max over well, let's try theta. I'm just trying to think of how to write this. The max over all angles. No, this doesn't work. Oh my god, man, LaTeX is just awful in so many ways. Okay, that's a little better. So now, got to be careful here because I mean, there is a cos in front of here. Whatever. whatever, I prefer this notation anyway, even though it makes no sense. Oh, no, actually, no, this notation makes sense. It's cosine squared. It doesn't make sense. It would have to be cosine blah squared, but people just write cosine squared. It doesn't, anyway, whatever. This notation does make sense. So anyway, take the inverse cosine. And actually, it's 180 minus that. Right? Because if I take these two vectors and draw them lined up tail to tail, something like that, then the cosine of this angle is the dot product between both of them. The largest dihedral angle, like the dihedral angle is this, right? So it's 180 minus theta. Okay, I think this is right. So this is an undetermined problem, or it's not completely determined. We have a lot of degrees of freedom. So what we can do to get rid of the degrees of freedom is constrain oh, does that not exist? Just whatever, okay. Equals 1, there. So it's hard to typeset this stuff. I mean, the only reason I'm typesetting is because there's no way I can draw it nicer with the mouse. But basically, or how do people do this? It's like you just find the maximum, or the unit vector that maximizes this equation. Whatever, I just won't bother to write this down here. Maybe, I don't know if this is standard notation, but I think you can do something like this. That seems right. So now this 180 doesn't mean anything. So like it doesn't change what the maximum is, so we can just get rid of that. And the maximum of the negative is the minimum of the non-negative. And oh, I see. Okay. So if we we can get rid of this cosine now, because if these are both unit vectors, then their dot product is bounded between 0 and 1, or well, -1 and 1. And I believe, I'll have to, hold on. So if I plot y equals inverse cosine of x, yeah. So because my x is bounded from -1 to 1, this is a monotonically decreasing function. Which means I can get rid of this, right? Because if I take any 2 points, let me just do, I don't know, x equals -0.7 and x equals 0.3 or something. If I take any 2 points on this graph, if the first x coordinate is less than the second x coordinate, then it implies, oh, wait. I think, no, wait a minute. Wait a minute. I'm trying to get rid of the cosine in this, because it's a monotonic function, I think, but it's monotonically decreasing, which is, I think means that we need to change this to max, and then we can get rid of this. Does that make sense? There's kind of no other thing to do but just try it. Now there's another constraint that we have, which is that this v is going to lie in a plane. So we also have some because v lies in a particular plane, we also have this. And so finally, given that we enforce it to be a unit vector, that it is parallel to a certain plane, and now there are no more degrees of freedom. V is uniquely determined. I think. So, what this all means, and the whole reason we're doing all this, is because, like, if I start at some point here, and I want to travel the length of a stitch to get to the next row, I need to be able to do that. Yeah, I was kind of hoping maybe I could write a little code, but I'm way too unfocused to write code. Especially that there's no obvious way to do this incrementally. I kind of just have to hit a home run. You know, just write all the code and then get it working all at once. It's kind of hard to break it up into smaller steps. Man, I have a busy day today too. Technically today because it's now past 4 in the morning. Why can't I sleep when I would find it convenient? See, the reason why I'm having this problem is because today at work it was like 4 o'clock and I was dead, but I still had an hour left, and I was like, oh, I'll just like sit down on the couch for a second, just a second, just a second. And what do you think happened? I fell asleep, and then by the time I woke up, I discovered like a dozen messages on Slack of just stuff not working. And, like, anyway, what I'm trying to get at here is because I had this weird jilted sleep earlier today, and then got all anxious about something at work, and I'm also slightly anxious about stuff today. It's just kept me awake all damn night. It's just, I'm digging myself a deeper grave by not sleeping. So, yeah, I'm gonna go to sleep. This wasn't really a coding stream, it was I don't know, a complaining stream.